Compare the two women characters, Portia and Calpurnia, from Act 1 and 2 of Julius Caesar. In his magnum opus, Julius Caesar, William Shakespeare has portrayed the minor characters like Calpurnia and Portia along with their male counterparts very aptly that evokes a sense of distinct Elizabethan coloring associated with social prejudices and customs. The role of women and marriage in the Elizabethan society is vividly depicted by Shakespeare throughout the introduction of Portia and Calpurnia. Their grave concern for their husbands with the natural elements like storms play a significant part in forecasting about the impending dangers that befall their husbands. Calpurnia is Julius Caesar, wife who treated her like an ornament for her barrenness. Whereas Portia seems a reflection of the noblest part of her husband's nature, Calpurnia is contrastingly weaker in status and intelligence. Calpurnia invests great authority in omens and portents. She begs Caesar not to go to the Senate house. Call it my fear that keeps you in house, and not your own. She tells Caesar about her prophetic dream where Caesar's statue ran with blood, which correctly predicts what will happen when Caesar goes to the Senate and is stabbed by the conspirators. Caesar agrees to pretend to be sick, saying, "For thy humor I will stay at home." Caesar's ambition ultimately causes him to disregard her advice. Calpurnia stands as a contrast to Portia, who also begs her husband Brutus not to go out, but with much less effect. In both instances, the wives are correct, and their husbands' decisions to ignore their warnings ultimately lead to fatal consequences. Portia, the daughter of Cato and wife of Brutus, ascertains that she is not an ordinary woman, rather an exquisite person of a noble lineage. Thus, Brutus does recognize her exceptional qualities and soon afterwards reveals his secret to her. She is Brutus' confidant and a splendid example of the Roman matron, with heroic qualities not usually associated with womanhood. High courage, spotless virtue, powerful will and great power of endurance were Roman ideals of what a woman should be, and Portia has them all. She sees that the mind of Brutus is troubled. She approaches him boldly with a claim to be equal partner and sharer of his secrets. She insists to be included in the burden of grief which weighs him down. Portia is not weak, clinging type of woman who must be protected from the harder side of life, but insists on sharing in the struggle. Portia appeals to the noblest instincts in Brutus' character and never attempts to weaken his dangerous resolution. She is not merely an embodiment of loyalty and compassion. She almost gives her husband away and has to make enormous efforts to control her tongue. "O Constancy, be strong upon my side. Set a huge mountain, 'tween my heart and tongue. I have a man's mind, but a woman's might. How hard it is for women to keep counsel." Quote, Calpurnia and Portia serve as the voice of caution who remained concerned about the safety of their husbands. Calpurnia's manner of talking to Caesar is that of a petitioner, while Portia's to Brutus is that of a woman who is conscious of her own importance. Calpurnia does not claim equality with Caesar, but Portia does with Brutus. As a wife, Portia is aware of her rights, but Calpurnia is not. By comparing with Portia, Calpurnia appears to be a less person. By sharing her husband's secrets, Portia becomes a passive conspirator. However, both of them kneel before their respective husbands.